Hello, good morning and welcome. A very warm welcome to the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. Will be the first on the menu of a packed day of action around the gear circuit today, Saturday. But it will all kick off with the bikes in around 3 minutes' time. They'll have the warm-up session.
GP bikes. 3 minutes to start a warm-up. GP bikes, 3 minutes to start a warm-up.
So 3 minutes then to the start of warm-up. For some riders, it'll be a case of just shaking last night out of the system, really, riding around for maybe a few minute decisions to be made. Just looking at Phil Crow, great qualifying session. One of the riders on Dunlop, he's already decided he's going to go on a medium soft rear. He's going to use this session to bed that tyre in. Phil Crow here with the backing of Nigel Appleyard and Han Trans. Now there's a man who doesn't know what he's doing. And what I mean by that, Michael Rutter still hasn't decided what tyre to go for. So a softer tyre around gear will be really good, but maybe after around about 8 or 9 laps, maybe they might just begin to tear up, perhaps. Paul Jordan, who is really loving life at Macau at the moment. But as I say, Michael Rutter still doesn't know what to do. Sam West, who likes some of the riders, because initially there was only one qualifying session on the schedule, so a lot of riders brought only enough tyres for one qualifying session. And then obviously they had the second one was reinstated, and so they've had to really be careful with the tyres that they're using. Paul Williams and just Dave O'Johnson in the background there. But as I was saying with Michael Rutter just a moment ago, he's still undecided whether to go for a softer tyre or whether to go for a hard. Josh Brooks at the back of the garage, Brian McCormack just coming out as well. Brian really happy with the way everything's going. He's going to go with a soft tyre like his FHO teammate Dominic Herbertson as well. Both he and David Johnson going for what's called an SCX rear. They're going to try a different map in this warm-up session as McCormack goes out to get ready to go. They'll be leaving in 30 seconds time. But the Dafabet Racing boys, here is Dave O'Johnson, the Australian, really happy with the suspension. And Danny Horn just behind them. The team powered by Yorkshire Tea, of course, as always. If you want an English cup of tea in Macau, you go and see Danny Horn. So Josh Brooks on treble 8, just taking it steady. I think maybe perhaps he'd have liked to have been a bit close. Well, yes, he certainly would have liked to have been close to the front, but I think maybe he would have been expecting to have been a bit close to the front, but it's taken maybe just a little bit longer for him to adjust to Macau. There really is nothing else like it. So it's a 20-minute warm-up session. Some riders, I think the likes of Peter Hickman, will just go out, do 3 or 4 laps. Peter Hickman is very happy with the way that his MGM FHO Racing BMW has handled so far, and with that qualifying time yesterday, I'm not surprised. Davey Todd as well, I think, may still be undecided about what tyre to put in. The harder tyre, of course, is a lot more stable, but not as quick as a soft. So there is Davey Todd about to go out. He had that clutch issue yesterday. In the end, they would put the, I think they put the original clutch back in, and it worked. Josh Brooks, who I was talking about before, of course, gearbox issues, that's all behind him now. As David Datzer goes through, starts ahead of row 2, but in recent years, as here goes Todd, team boss John Burrows just giving him a final push. As I was saying, in years gone by, the motorcycle race tended to be at the end of the day, but this year it starts off. So temperatures, it's just around 22 Celsius. It's really cool. It's a nice cool breeze as well. So track temperature, not really an issue. Peter Hickman was saying last night that humidity in that second session, you just didn't notice it. The worst problem yesterday, really, for the riders in that final second qualifying session was the sun. As they went into Lisboa, straight into their eyes, and Hickman was saying that he would see his marker and then he couldn't see a thing. The glare was straight in, so he would see his marker go 1, 2, he would count 1, 2, and then hit the brake. Absolutely incredible. Datzer with a little bit of movement. And I've not seen David Datzer do anything but smile this week. The German rider, 4th fastest. Rob Hodson on the MTP-Racing machine as well. So that sun issue, though, will not be a problem for the riders this morning, because the sun is shining practically in the opposite direction. So I think actually in that case they will be grateful that they'll be going so early in the day as opposed to later. The sun's been up about an hour or so here in Macau, that's how early it is. So you may have, if you've been watching this week, thanks for taking the time, but you may have heard me mention, I say obviously places like the Isle of Man, TT, where we talk in miles per hour for laps. Here at Macau, the lap record I think is 95 miles an hour, and I mentioned about 100 miles an hour, so My good friend Chris Boyd has been crunching his numbers as per usual, and he thinks that 100-mile-an-hour lap on the gear circuit would be a time of 2 minutes 16.9. So considering that the lap record is 2 minutes 23, still held by Stuart Easton, which is incredible, from was it 2010? So we are quite some way away of that. I mean, Hickman's pole time yesterday is almost 8 seconds outside the 100-mile-an-hour lap. Although one day we'll get a little bit closer to it, but I think that's somewhere in the distance. So yeah, Chris says he makes the 2 minute 24.87 as 94.498 miles an hour. It's 152 kilometers. So front runners are averaging around 150 kilometers on this track, with the likes of the Melco hairpin and all that tight twisting part at the top as well. So to do 150 kilometers now, it's 2 minutes 26.8 seconds. So Hickman, Todd, Costomo, all over an average of 150 kilometers an hour. As we look at Rob Hodson into Lisboa. The only rider who's not out on track, Peter Hickman, who was quite content to, after holding pole for so long yesterday, was quite content just to sit out the rest of the session. And then, of course, Davey Todd, who'd had those clutch issues, went out and claimed pole or provisional pole with that blistering lap. Peter thought, right, let's get the lid on. Out he went. And I mentioned it to him later, so is that a little bit psychological? And he said, yeah, a little bit, you know. So if Davey had gone into this race in pole position, he could have been super confident. But Peter says, I've now given him something to think about by just putting it past him and putting it into pole position. Now, not that there's any mean rivalry or anything in there, or they're all still the best of pals. We're all out eating in a local Italian restaurant last night. But anything that's going to give you an advantage when you're racing at this level. I think we might see Hickman in the next couple of minutes or so. Davey Todd and Michael Rutter both leaving it late to go out. Chris has been looking at the speed trap times as well. Oh, the speed trap times. Speed trap speeds. But there's just here the speed trap, just there. But Peter Hickman will tell you that it doesn't really mean a great deal, the speed trap into this. It's different for so many. But it is the fastest part of the course. Costomo is showing the fastest 283.1. However, that could well, he may well have overshot. I did see a 299 the other day. That was in free practice, but so you can go through the speed trap very quickly. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to make it around Lisboa. This has also been pointed out that Costomo seems to be on the older S1000 BMW. I know it's a stock engine. He says it's a super stock bike, but maybe with the lost in translation. But there might be Superbike chassis, etc. But all the others, of course, are on the M1000s. So my thanks again to Chris Boyd for his help. So this is Todd at Donna Maria. You can just see as they go around, they can see where the taxis, I think that's taxis, or it might be just general parking, but you can see the stops there, and it tends to get a little bit dirty, a little bit greasier there than normal. But to be honest, I think by now we've had cars going around here all the last 3 days. last 2 days, I should say, sorry, and they've cleaned it up a little bit as well. In fact, I asked yesterday about the track conditions. There were some concerns that maybe like last night it might have been a little bit greasier with all the oil and everything else that had been put down by the cars racing through there early in the day. As Costomo goes light on the rear as he comes into Lisboa. But the riders saying, no, it wasn't as greasy as they may have expected it last night. So we're halfway through warm-up. Purple's all the way for Davy Todd. I wonder what tyre Michael Rutter went with. Peter Hickman is out, by the way, so Peter Hickman has gone out on track, but they say they are ready to race. So there is Rutter and Todd, and you have to say both outfits look absolutely immaculate. The Batham's backed Michael Rutter. The FHO Racing BMW and the Burroughs Engineering RK Racing BMW of Davy Todd. Interesting as well just to see that Todd running a yellow plate and Michael Rutter using a white plate, but there's nothing to look into here at Macau. Everybody's on a 1000cc machine, whether it is a superbike or a super stock. We know Davy Todd is on a superbike. Some would have perhaps thought that the yellow could have been an indication that it is a super stock machine that he's on. Just a little bit of front wheel from Michael Rutter there as he comes down and says enough is enough. I know one or two were at the start of, I know it's not the week, but at the start of the Macau Grand Prix week as we go on board with Peter Hickman. Some were saying they were just finding it, the front was going a little bit up in the air, a little bit too much for their liking, but they've managed to dampen that down. Here is Hickman out of Lisboa. And then the climb up San Francisco Hill. Are we going to witness later this morning Peter Hickman versus Davy Todd? Is that how this is setting up? Or will we have Erno Costomo, David Datzer really getting involved, even maybe Michael Rutter? Just trying to see if the sun may be a little bit of an issue here. I don't think so. So once they've climbed up San Francisco, made their way through Maternity, Teddy Yip, Isle, Police, etc. And now begins the climb down to the track. Nadia Schutz, who is out. So Olivier Lutberger, Nadia Schutz and Mark Goodings all showing as having not qualified for the race, for not being 110% within the time set by this man. However, it looks as if they will have had special dispensation to take part in the race. But you would have to think, looking at the difference in lap times that Hickman and Todd, etc., were putting in, and those further down the back of the field, then you'd have to expect around laps 9 or 10 during the race. Then they are going to start getting lapped and they will become involved. It's Nadia Schutz with Rob Hodson for company as they blast their way down. Just over 5 minutes remaining. I mentioned before, Erno Costomo wasn't sure what he would go for, whether he would go for the stability of a hard over 12 laps race distance. And of course, sometimes we don't go the full distance at Macau. And maybe a soft tyre. I don't think he was too sure exactly what he was going to go with tyre-wise. Maybe he has a better idea now, having been out in this session. This man, Michael Rutter, certainly had no idea. He really just shrugging his shoulders. He doesn't know. They've had to really learn from the ground up with that machine. But they're getting it into a place where they're happy. And of course, he did that 2:27.5 in qualifying yesterday. And he'll tell you as well, all the years he's been coming, this track, the gear circuit has improved tenfold since he started riding here back in the 1990s. So they really look after it. The organisers do a fantastic job and keeping it clean, bearing in mind it has a lot of heavy use. You can see often the traffic in the distance, or just not too far away from the racetrack. I think the fact Davey Todd did a 2:26.7, whatever tyre he did that on, I think it will be the softer. Todd on the Metzler as well, like Michael Rutter. Oh, Michael Rutter is back in the groove. Oh, it's a pity we didn't see the end of that. There's Hickman just coming out of Fisherman's. Certainly Michael Rutter looking a lot happier on the bike. Well, he's always looked happy, but certainly happier than he has done so far this week. Hickman with a 2:25.9. So he goes inside 2:26 again. Whether he actually knows that Todd did a 2:26.7, but he's just done a 2:25.9, and Davey Todd will have food for thought and maybe think again on the tyre situation. So yeah, job done, as you can see from the body language from Peter Hickman. So he'll be coming in at the end of this lap. Just 2.5 minutes to go before the checkered flag comes out. Then, of course, we will be back racing here. So we'll be back in less than an hour's time. So here is Rutter into the Melco hairpin. First gear, then second, third, into fourth, notch into fifth, then back down to fourth, third and second for Fisherman's Bend. Here we are now. Just nicking into second gear there, back on the power. Third, into fourth, fifth, around about 140, 50 miles an hour, then knocked back to third for this bend, up into fourth and across the line. 2:28.2 for Michael Rutter. But again, he looks like he's still trying to learn, still trying to discover, still trying to find out exactly what he's capable of on this BMW. Top 7 bikes, of course, all BMWs on the grid. So let's watch him coming down into Lisboa. Just see his head moving around there. So a little bit more calm, a little bit more collected than he was on the previous lap as he tips into Lisboa. You're around 180, 90 miles an hour on the approach in there. First gear, then second gear. There's Hickman coming up to Fisherman's. but he'll come straight in. So that's that for Peter Hickman. I think he looks very happy, and he has to start a slight favourite ahead of Davy Todd. Hickman, of course, a 3 times Macau Grand Prix winner. Davy Todd yet to find the top step of the podium, although he's not been coming here anything like as long as Peter Hickman. Todd, I think his debut was 2018. Josh Brooks, though, in the 2:32s now, so he's found a couple more seconds. And there is the checkered flag. So, a warm-up session, which is more about warm-up than times, of course. Josh Brooks, of course, had that gearbox issue, but that's all behind him now. Here's Rutter into Melko. He won't be going inside 2:28 this time, so Michael Rutter will be coming in very shortly. In fact, he'll just come straight down pit lane, I would imagine. So Josh Brooks still out there. Oh, in fact, Michael Rutter is going for the lap. So he'll have to ride his way around. So there is that. So he's fast 2:35.7 for Rutter on that occasion. Oh, he's really... So you can see he's using this to the full. So he's going again. He'll have to obviously come in, but just trying to find out what he's happy with the suspension, whether to go soft or whatever. There's the man. So here's Rutter again. I said David Datzer, all he's done is smile all week, and no surprise as well. That's on the MTP-Racing by 0 up Pens 13 BMW. And I think, obviously, the most important part of this circuit is the run from Fisherman's down to Lisboa, and that is exactly what Michael Rutter has just been looking for. So he'll just be making his way back now to the pits. Paul Jordan and Davy Todd just chatting away. Can't quite make out what they're saying. So yeah, Michael Rutter is just making his way back now. This is all second gear through here. The odd nick into third. So that personal best lap there, that's just for warm-up. His best lap is a 2:27 that he achieved in qualifying yesterday. Knowing Michael Rutter, no doubt. At the end of this, he probably still says, I still don't know what tyre I'm going to go for. Go for the softer option, which could begin to tear up, as I say, around 2/3 distance, or go for the harder. But then again, maybe the race could end up just going 2/3 distance. So it is all pretty much a guessing game. A throw of the dice to see what will be the best way to achieve success at Macau this year. Pretty much all the names you'd expect to see at the top of the time chart at Macau. So we edge ever closer to the big finale, to race week in terms of the bikes here at Macau. Peter Hickman against Davy Todd looking like the heavyweight bout. But there are plenty of other contenders in there as well, who just cannot be discounted. And of course, you might have the odd engine going pop, etc. Who knows? So there is a lot of questions to be answered, and they will be answered in around an hour or so's time. We're just coming up to 8 o'clock. The Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix is not too far away. You've got plenty of time to go and get yourself a hot drink, maybe get some snacks, get ready for the entertainment that is on its way. Will it be this man, Davey Todd, who takes his first ever win at Macau? Or could it be number 88, Peter Hickman, who will make it 4 in a row? Can Michael Rutter add to his 9? Could he make it 10 wins at Macau? Don't forget, Erno Costomo and David Datzer, etc. Costomo, the current king of Macau. Can he hold on to his crown? That's it from me for now. I'll be back very soon. Stay tuned. The Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix is on the way.
Prova que tem Peter Hickman na pole position, ele vai largar da primeira linha da grande partida ao lado de David Todd e também do vencedor da edição de 2022 da competição, o finlandês Erno Costomo. Na segunda linha da grande partida está o alemão David Datzer e ao lado de Michael Rutter e de Philip Edward Rowe. Na terceira linha, Paul Jordan, Brian McCormick e Robert Hudson. Lá mais para trás, na quarta linha, Lucas Maurer, David Johnson e Julian Truman, piloto austríaco. Na quinta linha da grande partida, temos então dois dos melhores estreantes, Joshua Brooks, ele larga da 13ª posição da grelha, ao lado de Samuel West. Estreia então também este ano neste grande prémio de Macau. Na sexta linha da grande partida, Joseph Thompson, Joey Thompson, o tal piloto de 25 anos, que visita Macau pela segunda vez, depois de ter estreado há um ano no território. Também Dominic Herbertson e o checo Kamil Ola. Na sétima linha da grande partida, o francês Timothy Bourgoul, Paul Williams e Nadia Schotz, piloto irlandesa, a única piloto e primeira piloto deste grande prémio de Motos Macau, segunda presença para Nadia Schotz, ela que larga então da 21ª posição da grande partida, depois de ter conseguido como melhor marca pessoal uma volta na ordem dos 2 minutos, 39 segundos e 669 a grelha, Olivier Lutberger e Mark David Buddings, os outros dois estreantes nesta 50ª edição do Grande Prémio de Motos Macau.
Well, that's the end of warm-up then. The final checks, the final setup tweaks are done to rights ahead of the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. Peter Hickman, top times, 8/10 of a second ahead of David Todd with MTP-Racing, BMW teammate Michael Rutter third. Last year's winner, Costomo, in 4th place ahead of Philip Rowe, David Datzer. Paul Giorgio is 7th ahead of Ireland's Brian McCormack. Josh Brooks making his debut double British Superbike Championship record for the racing here in the easiest week so far for the history of qualifying. Great to see him going out on his debut. First, Nobia Willie Robertson on the Honda in 10th position ahead of Sam West. Tom Herbertson in 12th ahead of David Johnson, Lucas Moran, Julian Truman, Campbell Holland, Maxwell, Michael Evans in 17th ahead of Mark Goodings. Good to see him back on his feet after his spill in qualifying 1 yesterday. Joey Thompson, 19th ahead of Paul Williams, Timothy Minot, Olivier Lutberger in 22nd, and Nadia Schotz 23rd. So that's everything practice-wise done and dusted here at Macau. Next, we go racing. The 55th Macau Grand Prix gets underway in 40 minutes' time.
赛前热身已经结束，那么接下来车手将会进行最后阶段的调整，然后呢，就是今天比赛摩托车的重头戏要登场了。总共要进行12圈的比赛，第55届的奥兰多一日摩托车大赛。在起跑方面呢，则是一个在场上有2位国家跑出的24.8的成绩，对今天将会从这样的起跑，他自己也说，原本呢他 后一刻呢，陶德在场上重新是刷出了一个最佳成绩。当时距离整个排位赛结束还剩8分钟，所以最后他又重新回到了赛道上。另外，汉克曼他自己表示呢，这个赛道的预期比他之前所想的要来更好一点。曾经一度比较担心竹青湾的颠簸。那么，另外昨天下午第2场排位赛呢，因为受到夕阳的干扰，看不清楚制动痕迹，但总的来说还是不错的。陶德今天比赛里面需要重新检查一下他的离合，因为昨天的第2场排位赛他刚开始的时候只跑了3圈，主要的一个原因就是在车后的修离合。那么还好呢，赛车最后顺利的重新回到了赛道里。还有一位车手，大家也关注一下，那是哥斯达摩。芬兰车手将会是占据前排的第3个起跑位置。那他总的来说，对于自己的赛车的状态还是很满意的。不过轮胎选择可能就比较纠结，用软胎跑的话会比较冒险。如果用硬胎的话，到底能不能有机会跟前面的2位车手展开一番争斗？这个就要看他自己最终的一个选择了。另外，当然就是不声不响的经验丰富的路达，在这里能够赢这么多次，路达绝对是有他自己的独门秘籍。好，那么稍事休息，将会开始的就是55届澳门格兰啤酒摩托车大赛。 收起佢，我都係留一張嘅咋，因為自己嗰個位置，你佢下邊先。你公開但係你唔係室內，室內人平時做咩多啊？我退咗休啦。國學生。今年話唔夠人翻嚟爭。即係你以前都係 TPS。爭人嗰年都爭人。同我呢個嚇，冇人用㗎嘛都可以嘅，我哋走嗰時都有3條數嘅一個人啊。即係佢個當其時一路加入去嘅，入去嗰時好低人工㗎咋，百幾人。個車嚟講咧，我唔知啊，計啦，我去做翻嚟做幾年都係退咗休之後，我話等入去翻仔做，我依家都30幾年，會唔會又下咗位唔俾人上啊？咪同埋都攰啦，但係你每年你翻嚟做，咁人哋冇新人上做，因為就係嗰班啊嘛。係啊，咁你都要俾新人出嚟。今年就可能即係變咗成班人上場，就係呢啲話個新嘅大家都知㗎啦。因為我平時都2個禮拜啦。係啊。唔係啊，佢今年2個禮拜係7週年。唔係啊 ，set up 咗有1個幾禮拜。係啊 ，set up 同佢 set 嘢啊嘛。今次 set up 得4日㗎。4日啊。咁時間啊。7日啫喎。係啊，好抵。最主要大嚿嗰個錢係政府做嘅，政府話縮唔到嘅。我哋好無辜啊，因為我諗住喺度就係鬆，即係我做咗好多年，我哋就諗住大概點樣做係啦，就玩啊，同埋你揸機，後面都係廣州嘅啫，我都係跟呢部機。唔係啊，因為膠袋咧，唔係你呢個位其實好攰啊，我點樣平白咧？係啊，平咗1日咧，搞唔掂。早2年咧，我跟嗰個去廣州嘅，佢都佢將佢攬一部嘅，我哋攬多部嘅，因為佢做行啊，佢一買佢就一個就2億，佢就因為佢哋放咗。唔係，我想呢個過嚟，但我用電瓶車，應該仲喺辛苦咯。哇！你都冇做㗎，幾多俾人做㗎？你都做死嚟，而家仲嗰啲做啦，冇得做。係咯，我食好飯㗎。阿華好啲，加上阿華好啲。以前唔係㗎嘛，有得唞㗎嘛，有得唞㗎嘛，唔使下下出㗎嘛。而家唔係啊，下下出，一翻去就真係。我聽到冇得嬲，得閒就要影下啲教練嗰啲。嗰啲就冇影嘅，以前應該有啲後生啊嘛，後生係最揸啦，後生揸最揸。係因為係啊，因為你後生有體力啦，但係你學完1日啊，翻去又趴咗喺度瞓喺度都死你啦。有當然我都學啊，膊頭都係，我有時我都要手術，但係我覺得我就短時間。你呢個大場㗎嘛，佢又咪有個嗰幕嘢又拎入，都有拎入。不過咧，我做都係1個月啦，演唱會嗰啲啊，演唱會又少，演唱會係大機，有個自由席喺度揸，咁啊，大家樂。
Attention in pit lane, GP bikes. Pit exit will open in 5 minutes. GP bikes, pit exit will open in 5 minutes.
你攞到㗎咩？我攞，我自己過，唔係我自己過場咗香港。我認真啲咯，玩啲咯，真係飛啦，出去真係食下嘢啊，好攰咯。我做呢行都係咕喱嘅，都係齋呼吸啲咯，為啲嘢呼多。如果拍綜藝節目咧，食多啲嘢。係啊，綜藝多咯，冇乜時事咯。如果係拍，如果係拍新聞嗰啲特輯嘅，都真係飛咯，最好都係真係飛，話真係食。如果拍飲食係啊，都唔使買鞋。好啊，你拍飲食最好㗎啦，你拍嗰個藝團，跟住你就自己一包。我哋以前都拍過，因為啲 artist 都好嘅。以前我哋公司都有拍過飲食嗰啲嘢㗎，魚腩菜啊咩菜嗰啲啱啱拍完就我哋翻嚟就食最高，佢食叫你留低去食㗎，反正整咗啲嘢俾你。咦？唔係，一定係睇一份做一份㗎嘛，即係你有乾疏疏啊，乾疏啊嘛。係啊，你要特寫嗰啲你攞嚟。都夾過晒你幾十條，跟住佢快食嗰份佢又食晒，咪咪都會啊，都10個8個㗎啦，一出身成圍台㗎，有啲要手就有啲有導演，係咪？有燈光有收音，而家越嚟少人，而家係啊，成隊都唔知冇做嘅。而家我哋做新聞嗰啲咪一個人搞掂㗎。以前係㗎嘛，綜藝又4個咯，有 camera 個導演又4個，而家都係咁啦。
啲小狗。疫情完咗啊！捉棋啊！我哋咪有唔上人咯，捉棋咯。我而家咁幾一日，幾即係我要幾2日先有啫，你幾個人？哦，好平，好平。係啊，我哋收咗工㗎，你哋報咗價。報價係老細。係啊，我咪抽佢點俾啊？係咯，佢抽到你冇計嘅，但係我好平。好少做啊！我哋而家咁樣先係12個鐘，12個鐘喎，大佬，1點半到5點半。喂，計麥當勞時薪都。
Hello and good morning again from Macau. Dave Moore with you for the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix, the 55th running of this marvellous event. 12 laps the race distance. We'll be getting the race underway in just under 10 minutes time from now. It's been so far so good this week. Bikes out on a sighting lap, then they'll pull up onto the grid, then they'll go off on a warm-up lap, and no sooner do they come in from the warm-up lap, they will line up ready to race. As I say, 12 laps the race distance. Hopefully we will go the race distance this time. 8 laps was the distance last year, but it was reduced. And of course, back in 2019, we didn't run the full distance, so hopefully we'll get a full race in this time. Front row, Hickman, Todd, Costomo, then it's Datsa, Rutter, Crow on row 2, Jordan, McCormack, Hodson, row 3, row 4, Mora, Johnson and Trummer. Row 5, Brooks, West, Evans. 6 is Thompson, Robertson and Holland. 7, Mono, Williams and Schutz. And then at the back, Lutberger and Goodings. And I mentioned earlier in warm-up that Nadia Schutz, Olivia Lutberger and Mark Goodings had not done enough during qualifying to pick a position on the grid. However, they were given the warm-up session to show that they were capable of being here at Macau, and they did that. So they will all be on the grid, all 23 riders for this 12-lap race. Here we are, confirmation of the positions. So then, I managed to go and have a word with a few people. They actually didn't get to see Michael Rutter. Everybody wants a piece of the 9-time Macau Bike Grand Prix winner. So lots of dignitaries and fans, etc., spending time with Michael Rutter. He is so popular out here in Macau. And of course, there's a waxwork of him in the local motorsport museum. Now then, what I did find out is what people were doing in terms of tyres. So Hickman is going with a soft rear, starts in pole position. And like him as well, Davey Todd wasn't too sure when he turned up this morning what he was going to go for, but he, like his rival at the front, has chosen a soft rear. However, of course, Todd is on Metzler's, Hickman is on Dunlop. But this is the wild card in terms of tyre choice. Everybody else at the front has gone for a soft rear. Erno Costomo has gone for a hard. He has chosen a hard rear tyre. Dats has gone for a 0. But so Costomo, and in terms of, if you're not too sure what we're talking about there, so the soft tyre is a faster tyre. However, over distance, it will start to, I hate to say the word deteriorate, but it won't hold as long as a harder tyre. However, the harder tyre will be more stable. And Costomo, his thinking is either, if it does go the race distance and that the tyre is good enough to stay with the likes of Hickman and Todd, then their tyres will start to go off the final third of the race. This is the theory. And Costomo is banking on the fact that he will still be in the running. That is a big ask. And that hard rear tyre will come to pay dividends. So 5 minutes away, just under 5 minutes away from the start. Brian McCormack very happy. He was saying yesterday on the morning qualifying into Fisherman's, the wind was blowing them across the course. Nowhere near as windy this morning. There's still a little gust here and there, as Lucas Mora. The one issue, I mentioned it in warm-up and I checked with the riders, with the sun, and good to see Rob Hodson back. He was here last year, of course, but Rob Hodson with SMT, and there in fact is Robin Croft, Brolly Dolly extraordinaire. But and Dave O'Johnson as well, backed by Stuart Wilson. Mode Limited, also Head Socks and Motorary. And his folks are watching back home in Adelaide. Good morning to them. And Josh Brooks, another Australian who's here. We did suggest maybe at the start of the week that he could be running for a podium. He's certainly got the ability, however, he just does not have that Macau track knowledge just yet. And here's Julian Trummer as well. Julian going so well. Lives and breathes road racing. And Sam West. Good to see Sam West here again. MGM giving him a little bit of backing as well, helping him get on the grid. But as I was saying, going back to Erno Costamo, his plan is that he will be close enough to the front towards the end of the race that Hickman and Todd will drop back and he will stay strong. It's a gamble. And here's Joey Thompson as well, back in Macau. He was here last year. 74 Racing Limited by Janatech rider. And alongside him, Dominic Herbertson on the Dapperbet racing machine as well. I'm sure we'll see Dominic in a moment. We are just less than 3 minutes away. Here's Dominic.
Give it a kiss, sweetheart.
Yeah, relaxed. Frenchman Timothy Monod. A very international flavour at the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix again this year. It has for years been dominated by the Brits. Here's Paul Williams.
Hello. Reese, you watching? Hey.
And Nadia Schutz back at Macau for the second time this year. And she's been pleased. She said it's been growing and growing all week for her, the way the bike's been going. She's happier now. And we've got Olivia Lupberger, another Swiss rider. And then the final rider at the back, and he had a little bit yesterday, 24 hours ago. Fortunately, Mark Goodins with a little tip, but he's here and he's on the grid to go racing at Macau. We are a minute and a half away from the warm-up lap. They will go round, they will do one warm-up lap, and then there should be no tyre warmers, etc., no starters. It should be straight into position, green flag waved at the back, and away they go. And to keep them all in order, so you wouldn't get the likes of, say, Peter Hickman dropping back through, and then if he does that and they come to the grid again, he would have to get off the bike before the last rider and then push into position and not allowed to ride through. So that's all designed to keep the bikes going. Good ruling. So they should all stay pretty much in their grid order as they go around on their warm-up lap, come into position, and then away they will go. So 45 seconds to go. Grid is being cleared. So yeah, I was mentioning how yesterday the sun at Lisboa was an issue for them in the second late afternoon qualifying session. The only part they have here is at turn 9, the top of the hill, and the sun just catches them there during this. It's not as bad as it was at Lisboa. So that's it. It's just gone 8:40 here in the morning. Green flag being waved. We've still got a few people to clear from the grid. John Burrows being dragged off. Good luck dragging John Burrows off the track. Davy Todd just cautiously getting away. He did have that clutch issue, of course, yesterday. But he'll have to make his way up through the order. So as I mentioned, the majority of the front runners all on soft rears. Michael Rutter deciding to go for a soft rear. Much happier at the end of that warm-up lap. And that it worked for the likes of Michael Rutter. Peter Hickman, he said he didn't really need to go out, just reaffirming what they already knew about their BMW. Someone overshooting at Lisboa. Just looked up then, just not sure who that was. And of course, the crucial thing about Macau is the start. If you're on the front 3 rows, then you are in with a chance. 4th, possibly it'd have to be an absolute barnstormer to get there. But it's all about getting around that first turn and make sure you're in the hunt. By the time they get to Mandarin, the first seeing who that was, not coming up on there, but yes, so sorry, just make sure that by the time you get to Lisboa, you're in the hunt. We saw Peter Hickman win from row 3, of course, a few years ago. And you'd have to make him slight favourite to make him 4. See most of the riders just avoiding the inside, really dirty part of the track, where cars are parked all year round. We will be racing very, very soon, folks, here at Macau. The bikes just gently making their way into position. That's someone from the John Burrows team. I'm not sure they'll be allowed to go out, but they obviously have some concern over Davy Todd's bike. Just looking for number 7. And it would be a great shame if there was an issue, because we're setting this up as Hickman versus Todd. Out at the front, Peter Hickman really taking his time to get into, and there is Davy Todd at the outside. So Todd just coming through. So I'm sure if there is some kind of issue, we'll get a signal, but we are all due to go racing any moment now. It looks good, does it? Todd's off the bike, but he's back on it again. So green flag at the back. We are about to go racing. Oh, Davy Todd, there is an issue. There is an issue. Now then, drama at Macau. Something is wrong. David, we had this last year as well, of course. The John Burrows engineering team have a problem with their machine, their BMW. Now this is kind of going against everything. What are they trying to do here? Are they going to start from pit lane? They need to get that bike off. What a shame here in Macau. Davy Todd. So what's happening here? So we're going to have another warm-up lap by the looks of things. So they've got to do this, so maybe some kind of special dispensation. Wow, confusion here in Macau, folks. An extra formation lap. So there was certainly an issue with Davy Todd before. He was ginger off the line, took it really, really steadily. Now maybe if we can have a camera down in pit lane, trying to see what's going on. He's walking, I can see Davy Todd walking down pit lane, and his bike is being pushed as well. And judging from body language, it looks as if that is it from Davy Todd. He looks dejected. What a shame for Davy Todd. I don't think he's going to make it. There's certainly no hint of urgency between him or the team. So there will be a gap on the front row here at the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. That's it. Davy Todd is out without even racing a single lap. This is incredible. What a shame for Davy Todd. He's to come halfway around the world and put in the qualifying times that he and the team managed, and we were setting it all up for Peter Hickman versus Davy Todd, and that doesn't look to be the case now. Still just straining my eyes down to see what's going on at pit lane, and there's no way they're going to be back in time. So no Davy Todd then. There will be a hole on the front row of the grid between Hickman and Costomo. A hole for the likes of Datsa, Rutter and Crow to exploit. There it is. That does not look like a man who's about to go racing again. The only thing is he's still got his helmet on. But whatever the issue is, they know they're not going to fix it in time. And instead of holding the bikes a little bit longer, I mean, now we will be racing pretty much as soon as they get into position. But Davy Todd, of course, did give the indication that it was all over, swiping his hand across his neck just to say, that's it, we're done. What a shame. I'm just as disappointed as you are, folks, because we were really looking forward to see Davy Todd taking on Peter Hickman, etc. here in Macau. You can see Hickman just taking his time. What a shame. What a shame. So we're just waiting for the last of the grid to form up into position. Here comes Michael Rutter with that gap right there to exploit. That's Costomo to the left of the picture, Hickman to the right, green flag displayed at the back. We're about to go racing finally. We are 8.5 minutes late. But we're about to go racing here in Macau. It's all about the starts. When the lights go out, we will be away, and we are away, and it looks like a good start from Michael Rutter as he goes past Costomo. Hickman will take the whole shot, though, going into the turn. Brooks with a good start, too. Josh Brooks on treble 8 as they head down towards Mandarin for the first time. Rutter's into second ahead of Costomo already, and Rutter looking to carry the fight. Oh, Datsa's into third, and it is Costomo back to fourth. So Datsa with a superb start on the Penn's bike, and Rutter chasing down Peter Hickman into Lisboa. Michael Rutter chasing hard onto Peter Hickman. Oh, Datsa up the inside, getting past. No, Costomo had a look at Datsa, and Rutter all over the back of Peter Hickman as well. Everybody, it seems, Lucas Moore is just at the back there. Everybody, it seems to be through. No one overshooting at Lisboa. So their two boys, or two of their boys, out in front, and already a suggestion that Peter Hickman's pulling away. All second gear through this section across the top of the hill. Just coming around, you'll see now, we'll hit a bit of the sun, just gets in their eyes. So Hickman from Rutter, from Datsa, Costomo, Josh Brooks in 5th place. Now, we did suggest earlier this week, oh, do you know what? Josh Brooks could be getting a podium here. But Josh Brooks From row 5, he's up into 5th place. So an incredible start from the Australian. Brian McCormack in 6th. So no overtaking at all around this section. Looks like Nadia Schutz just bringing up the rear. Oh, a rider down. Someone is clipped. Is that more? Oh, Schutz has also... Nadia Schutz unfortunately couldn't stop in time, but so rider down, that's a red flag. I'm pretty sure that will be a red flag. Unless they can clear those bikes in time. We are still racing. Hickman from Michael Rutter, there we go. Yep, it had to be a red flag. So they'll come back into pit lane. The right decision, bringing out the red flag just as they were approaching pit lane, so they'll come in. So poor old Nadia Schutz just couldn't stop in time. But it did look as if one of the Kawasaki's was involved. So yet again, another start. Now, I'm not too sure what the rules are out here in Macau. Now, whether Davey Todd could be involved again, maybe the fact that they've started this race. But we'll just leave that one to speculation. But Michael Rutter will be happy, so too Josh Brooks with the starts they had. Maybe not so happy that it's come to a premature halt for the moment. Just going to try and see if I can hear anyone say anything. See if the cameras can pick up any bits of conversation.
Here at the Macau Grand Prix. It was a great first lap as well. The two MTP-Racing then back down there into
Josh Brooks, though, row 5 up into 5th place. He did get an absolute stormer. So too did Michael Rutter from row 2.
But it was instant impact straight away. David Todd being taken off the grid, his bike failing. We looked at something on the left side of the machine at the start of the first formation lap. He was able to start the second formation lap, and then a great race down to this goal. Two FHO bikes going side by side through the right-hander. Really, really good spectacle. Riders step back in the pits to race it.
Not able to really pick up what they were saying there. Timothy Monod, the French rider. Well, we're going to get a replay. So the bike had gone down and clipped at this point, but this is where Olivia Schutz comes round unsighted. In fact, she reacts to the bike being down, or maybe if there was something on the surface there, perhaps. Again, speculation gets us nowhere really, does it, folks? But poor old Nadia Schutz, unable to stop in time. Busy grandstands here at Macau. There's Paul Jordan. So Paul Jordan, who starts at the head of row 3.
Get curly there on the camera. Nothing like
We've no idea, obviously, at this moment in time, how long we will be delayed, and also, I mean, it's indicating, it says on the screen 12 laps, whether we'll go for a 12-lap race distance again. I would imagine we will, because that all happened on the first lap. So here's another angle. So that was Nadia Schutz, and that's no idea where the rider is on the other machine, but I'm just as much in the dark as you are at home, folks, watching, but interesting to see again just what we were talking about, the tyre situation, obviously very early in the race, but Costomo getting passed by Datza and Rutter off the front. Just the riders talking about exactly what happened. So a great shame, really. Obviously, no one wants to tip off in any race. But certainly, Michael Rutter and Josh Brooks, whether they'll get as good an opportunity again from a restart remains to be seen. And Datsa as well. It looked even on that opening lap. Here we go. Temperature's quite cool as well this morning. I've been in Macau in the past, it's been blisteringly hot. But yeah, a warm summer's day is in England is what I would suggest it's like. Some work going on with Davey Todd. I would be interesting to know what the score is with Davey Todd. They're still working on that bike, so maybe they think that they can get back out there, and which is what everybody wants. So whereas someone's misfortune, two riders who look like they won't be joining the grid again, they're putting fuel in. Davey Todd, they are going to race, folks. Well, this is great. This is good news, really good news. It looks like Davey Todd will be going back out there. A wave for everyone back home from Timothy Monod. So the drama is that Davey Todd will be taking up his position on the grid. Absolutely sensational here at Macau. Yet again, you can never script a Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix, can you? We're still waiting to have confirmation of a start time, or a restart time, I should say. So quite a few of the fans taking opportunity to go and get another drink, etc. And by the time the announcement goes out when this race gets underway, we will have full stands yet again. Danny Horn and Dominic Herbertson looking very relaxed. So too Mark Goodings. Still waiting for any information that's come through, but nothing so far. But we are still showing us 12 laps. All happy in the Joey Thompson camp. Clearing out any dirt that may have been picked up. And Rob Hodson, Robin Croft here from SMT-Racing as well, the team boss. Rob, very happy with the way things have been going this week. And really, you would have to say, with the likes of Rob Hodson, they're looking to win the non-BMW Cup. Not that such a thing exists, but with so many BMWs at the front, he'll go home, or one of the riders will go home saying, yeah, I was the first non-BMW across the line. So something else for them to race for as well. The riders will have their own personal goals. I mentioned to Peter Hickman about that first 100-mile-an-hour lap earlier this morning, and that he needed to find 8 seconds from somewhere, and he just laughed. He said it's going to be a long time before that happens. Still no information as we approach 9 o'clock local time here in Macau. Paul Jordan has said this week it's been the best ever superbike that he's ridden in his career. still looking for a permanent ride next year, but he may well have done himself a big favour with the Pens team, who compete in the International Road Race Championship, of course. Maybe we might see Paul Jordan racing in that series next year. Again, we still wait confirmation. It must just be a case of clearing up. Maybe if there is something on the surface that caused those bikes to fall, that might just take a little bit longer in cleaning the road surface. But this man, Davy Todd, well, those eyes just say, who knows? Who knows? In fact, it'd be great if the camera could follow him. He'll end up talking to someone, and we might just find out exactly what happened. He's just walking over now to talk to Peter Hickman. He said, in fact, Todd just chatting with Peter Hickman. So, Hickman did mention the word oil then, but who knows? Make of that what you will. Didn't quite hear, unfortunately, what the score was with Davy Todd. But obviously he had that issue on the warm-up lap that caused him to pull in. So, 55th ever running of the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. British riders have dominated the event through the years. Thinking back to the likes of Mick Grant, I think was a winner here, wasn't he, back in the day? Charlie Williams as well. I'm sure Mick and Charlie will both be at home watching at the moment. Yeah, Ron Haslam, Charlie Williams, the likes of setting out lap records. But of course, 1988 is the year we all remember, when Kevin Schwantz came to Macau and rode round on his back wheel, despite the best efforts of the likes of Robert Dunlop to stay with him. Back then, of course, two-leg races. Then we went into the 90s. The likes of Carl Fogarty, Steve Hislop, and Mike Edwards, Spike, who went very well here and is still involved in motorcycling. Everybody wants a piece of you, Macau. Lots of pieces to go around as well. So, but of course, I think the first ever 90-mile-an-hour lap was Michael Rutter. I know I was talking about 100 mile an hour, but the first 90 mile an hour from memory, don't correct me if I'm wrong, please, but around 1998, 90 miles an hour. And of course, then we had the first ever lap inside 2.5 minutes. And that was, of course, someone who we thought would have been here this year. Unfortunately, we're missing. And that is John McGuinness, when he did that 2:29. Then, of course, Rutter was he then took the lap record again. But then came Steve Plater, who really upped the ante when he came to Macau.
Just tipping in, it was just like, it was Davo stuck his hand up, and we just saw it went. But then we got through, yellow flag, and me and Evans are like, oh, we're still going, right? I'm like, Evans. Hurry up, Evans.
So there we go, there is the cleanup operation we just heard there. So I just wonder if there was some oil maybe from somewhere that brought down that bike, and then I thought maybe Nadia Schutz, when she came down, it may have been she reacted to a bike being on the road and just the front tucking because she really hit the anchors very, very hard, but maybe she found whatever brought the first bike down as well. But you just heard there what Dominic Herbertson was saying. Anyway, yeah, I was talking about Steve Plater, who really shook Macau when he came out here back in 2006. Yes, it was 2006. Then, of course, McGuinness taking the times off then as well. But then in 2010, we had Stuart Easton. Absolutely incredible. The only ever lap over the 95-mile-an-hour average mark. So Stuart Easton setting that, and it still stands to this day. 13 years on, that is still the lap record. Then we had Glenn Irwin, of course. Glenn, who'll be watching us over in Northern Ireland if he is at home at the moment, or whether he's on holiday perhaps. But he put in the fastest ever lap by a newcomer in 2016. And then, of course, he did unofficially break Easton's lap record, but that was during qualifying. The lap records only stand during the race. And of course, Glenn Irwin went on to win. So I think of the Northern Irishman to win as well. Philip McCallan. Jerry Williams did win when it was a two-legged affair. I'm pretty certain he won the first leg and then elected not to go out for the second leg.
P 字大賽車咧，我諗對於澳門好多朋友嚟講咧，都係一個伴隨住我哋成長嘅一個活動嚟。我細個嘅時候咧，其實係住喺個賽車場裏邊嘅，即係夜晚黑咧，佢哋就會係喺個賽道周邊嘅一啲嘅公寓啦，咁去到維修啲車，咁啊當然成晚都唔使瞓，咁但係咧就覺得好興奮嘅，因為你每一年只係有呢一個時間係會有一個咁即係澳門有咁大型嘅活動，即係一到賽車嗰日嘅話咧，咁啊自己都會特登走上去天台嗰度咧，去到睇大賽車。
細個嗰陣時，我讀小學啦。嗰個年代咧，就所有參賽車咧都係去摩羅園嗰處驗車嘅。其實離開我哋學校好近嘅啫，一有時間咧，我哋就會走去摩羅園嗰處就即係睇下，可以近接觸望到啲車，可以掂到啲車，所以就中意咗賽車嗰樣嘢。
第一次睇大賽車係2歲3歲啦，咁當時喺水塘灣就已經覺得好刺激啦。之後每年我都有同屋企人一齊去觀看呢個比賽嘅，希望自己有朝一日可以喺呢個賽道上面進行比賽。
估唔到啦，自己有機會參與佢嘅組織啊。
车手所承受的压力跟风险也倍增。工作人员呢也需要是保持12分钟的警惕啊，要确保第一时间内可以来吸引足够的支持和救援。所以一项大赛如果要想成功的话，除了优秀的车手、完备的赛制，还有就是高素质工作人员。因此，现场的观众朋友，如果您在路上看到我们的马兄，请给他们比个心，或者是个大拇指，感谢他们的辛勤努力啊！因为我们知道每一天其实他们都需要非常早，大概4、5点钟就要到现场，然后就位，尤其是在山上的一些工作人员，每个马修 pose、马修点的这个位置，他 他们一旦站上去，一旦上场之后，就一直要坚持到所有一天的比赛结束。所以这是十个小时，甚至十几个小时的一个工作量，尤其是山上的这个工作人员，所谓人有三急，那对于他们来说，真的要解决这个都变成一个非常非常难、非常困难的事情。因此，我们可以看到2个周末的比赛，工作人员真的是付出了很多的辛劳。如果你在马路上见到他们的话，请给他们报以掌声、微笑和鼓励，谢谢大家。好，那么我们现在看到现场的工作车辆已经即将要离开了。接下来的一个程序呢，就是赛会的组织者要进行安全检查，完了之后比赛将会重新开始。所以现场的观众朋友们稍安勿躁，稍后将会是摩托车的。
Início atribulado deste terceiro dia de competição no âmbito do segundo fim de semana da edição do 70º Prémio de Macau, a primeira grande corrida do fim de semana interrompida, antes ainda de concluída a primeira volta competitiva aos 6.200
road suitors and the safety cars have left. The marine marshals still doing some brushing up and coming down, so there will be a slippery surface bike presented on the road to the like 15-hour track. Course cars just circulating at the moment, safety car going around at 40. For the 55th edition of the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. So the delay has meant that the game has been pushed back a bit.
Hello again from Macau, where the Motorcycle Grand Prix is estimated to restart in around 6 minutes from now. We've had a clean-up operation underway here, just going into Donna Maria. Nadia Schutz, we know, is one of the fallen riders. Still no confirmation of the other rider. It did look as if it might have been Julian Trummer who was getting into the course car. Whether it was or not is purely open to speculation. But we're still waiting for confirmation of who was involved. But thankfully, it looks like both riders were okay. We're still showing as 12 laps as well. Oh, there is Julian Trummer.
Once all bikes are on the grid and the medical car is in position,
same thing will happen in the second qualifying session. Yeah. That's at least that was the race.
So there is Julian Trummer. It did look like Julian that got in the car, but I'm not certain 100% that it was him. However,
12 laps.
so yes, we are going over 12 laps.
Pit exit will open at 9:35 and will be open for 60 seconds only. Bikes will proceed around onto the grid, where they may be assisted by one mechanic only.
I'm picking up just as much information as you are back at home, folks. So 9:35 is when pit lane opens. So we're looking roughly around 9:40 perhaps for the race to get underway, or whether they'll just, once they get everybody in position, whether we're going to have a sighting lap and then a warm-up lap. I can't confirm that at the moment. I would imagine that would be the case, perhaps. But then again, they did suggest that only one mechanic per bike will be allowed on the grid. So it's been it will be an hour. So I think it was Julian Trummer. Just looking for any scuffs on his leathers, but he's quite animated, and the hand gestures, the international motorcycle racing spill hand gestures are coming out. So Josh Brooks, what a storming start he had. He'll be looking for more of the same again. Just looking for Brian McCormack's bike as well. I can't see, that should have been there. Maybe it's outside pits. There's Camille Holland from the Czech Republic. As I was saying, Josh Brooks had such a storming start from row 5 up into 5th place. So we're 3 minutes away.
Attention to pit lane GP bikes. Pit exit will in 3 minutes. GP bikes, pit exit will open in 3 minutes.
So time to put helmets on, because there are 2.5 minutes when pit lane opens. They have a minute to get back out on track, and considering they've had the best part of around 40 minutes to prepare. But that is a sight that every motorcycle race fan is delighted to see. Just they'll be hoping that they'll have no more false starts this time around. Phil Crowe also due to go out, but Davy Todd will take up his position. So someone else's misfortune is someone's good fortune. David Datzer was in 3rd place when that red flag came out. He had a storming start too from row 2, exploiting that gap that was in the front row. Paul Jordan. So there's Bathen's back's Michael Rutter. But was Brian McCormack another rider involved? We only saw 2 bikes on the screen, and I'm yet to see McCormack out there. But again, speculation can get you nowhere. So Erno Costomo. As I mentioned before, electing to go with a hard tyre. I would imagine he's staying with that theory as well, that it will deliver him the goods over race distance. But however, we have to complete race distance as well, 12 laps. That's the real Michael Rutter, not the waxwork. You have to go down to the Motorsport Museum for that one, just in case you thought they'd brought it down here, because there was certainly no movement then. But he certainly got plenty of movement off the start. A cracking start from row 2 for Rutter to go up into 2nd place, but there was that gap ahead of him to exploit, and he made the very most of it. As too did David Datzer, of course. So half a minute to go until pit lane opens. It's just a guess on my behalf, and I'm sorry I can't give you solid information. But I would guess that from the sighting lap, they will get up onto the grid and will go racing from there. Or whether they'll get another warm-up lap, I've just not been able to I've not been fed any of that information, unfortunately. Things happen a little bit differently in this part of the world than they do elsewhere.
Attention in pit lane, pit exit is now open. Pit exit is open and the close is safe.
So they have a minute to get out onto the track. Nobody hanging around, of course. But I've not seen, so I think perhaps Brian McCormack, as Rod Hodson makes his way out, I think perhaps Brian McCormack was involved, Julian Trummer was involved, and then unfortunately Nadia Schutz was involved as well. They did take a long time cleaning the track, so whether there was either oil had come out of a bike or whether the crash then chucked some oil onto the surface. But certainly there wasn't any Armco repair going on. You just see Davey Todd making his way up through the order to take his position on the front row of the grid. So that Hickman-Todd battle that we've been building up towards looks like it's going to happen again. Davey Todd must just be praying at the moment that he's going to make it all the way around, and if he makes it all the way around, then he will be good to go. The mechanics are just taking up their position on the grid right now, one per team. So maybe it's just to make sure everything's okay, and then perhaps they'll go racing. So Nadia Schutz and Brian McCormack, both conscious and receiving treatment at the hospital. We'll get more updates on that, but they're both fine. But it was Brian McCormack involved in that. So Nadia Schutz and Brian McCormack both conscious after. We are going to get a warm-up lap, just had that confirmed. So they are going to do a warm-up lap after this sighting lap. And then we will be racing at Macau. The local time just coming up to 9:38 in the morning here. It certainly did look like Julian Trummer as well was getting in that course car. So we'll be Hickman and Todd with those soft rear tyres on the front row of the grid. Costa with the hard. Datzer and Rutter have got soft tyres as well. Will it be the tail of the tyres over 12 laps? It's all eyes on bike 7, of course, as they make their way up into position. After the drama again, we had drama last year, of course. The riders not happy with the condition of the track. Some riders wanted to race, some riders didn't, and so in the end they postponed it till the following day. But you can see the pink bib of the John Burroughs Engineering RK Racing team, and here comes Rutter, and there is Davey Todd just going into position now. Hickman leaving it late as well, just coming up now into. So they're all just looking. In fact, a lot of work going on, just checking underneath Todd's bike. Looks good. It looks all positive, certainly the body language. So we are going to go for a warm-up lap. Then they'll form up, and pretty much as soon as the final rider takes their position on the grid, hopefully we'll then get the green flag, and we will be racing at Macau. Still a little bit of activity going further at the back. So the board goes out to indicate we're about to set off again on another lap. This will be the warm-up, and then, fingers crossed, we'll have 12 laps of racing around the gear circuit for the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix, the 55th running of this event in the year that the overall event, the Macau Grand Prix, celebrates its 70th anniversary. So here we go, this is the warm-up lap. And now, on this occasion, no hole for that man to exploit because Davy Todd is there. What can we expect from Josh Brooks on this occasion as well? Michael Rutter, the second fastest rider ever around Macau, 2:24.0. That was 13 years ago. What a race that was with Stuart Easton as well. Stuart Easton still 2:23.6. And on the Kawasaki. So that was Peter Hickman just going slow. Maybe just letting everybody go through as everyone tears up San Francisco Hill. It's Rutter who's leading them on this warm-up lap. Davy Todd looking very comfortable. Whatever issues he had appear to be behind him. The last great motorcycle race of 2023, of course, Macau. Peter Hickman's fastest ever time, 2:24.3, by the way. That was back in 2017. Puts him fourth on the list of fastest riders of all time, behind Glenn Irwin, Michael Rutter and Stuart Easton. And Martin Jessup, who always went well at Macau, no longer racing, unfortunately. Great rider, character as well. He also got inside 2:25. Only 5 riders have managed that in the past, going inside 2:25 over during the race. You see the lack of adhesion flag just being waved, just to remind the riders as they go into Donna Maria that there is dust down. So there was some kind of oil or some kind of liquid down on the track. Not too far away, folks. 12 laps the race distance, of course. Sam West just coming through ahead of Michael Evans on track. Josh Brooks. What can we see from Josh Brooks in this race? Could he... I suggested on the first practice, the free practice session, that maybe once Josh Brooks is familiar with Macau, that he could be a surprise podium. However, qualifying, the times didn't really come to him as we would have been expecting. But as we saw from that super start he had first time around, up into 5th place by Lisboa from row 5. However, a repeat of that would be sensational. So there is Hickman just taking up his pole position. Just coming up to 9:45 in the morning here. So I know it'll be very late back home in the UK and also across Europe. Thank you for staying up with us. Hopefully we will deliver another great motorcycle race here from Macau as the red lights go on after the green flag at the back is waved, and away we go. And it looks like a best start again from Hickman. Todd is right with him. Rutter up from row 2 into 3rd place as they go down towards Mandarin for the very first time. And Rutter looking to maybe make a move on Todd. Costomo is also there, but here comes Rutter, as you know, just pulls out, tucks in behind. Costomo is in 4th place. Datsun unable to get past him this time. So out of Mandarin, going down to the fastest part of the circuit into Lisboa, up into around 190 miles an hour already. Hickman putting his foot out. I can't believe the peg is that hot already, but maybe it is. It's right, the exhaust is right under the peg on that side. So up San Francisco they sweep. Hickman from Todd, from Rutter, Costomo, Brooks with another great start. So too Lucas Mora. This is on board with Michael Rutter, the Batham's-backed rider. Paul Jordan just in behind Datsun. Datsun with a terrible start this time. He was 3rd first time around on this restart. He finds himself down in 9th place. But Brooks into 5th behind Costomo as well. Hickman, will he pull away from Todd? Can Davy Todd stay with him? They're coming down from the top of the hill. They'll be sweeping in. It's all second gear through this part. So coming into Donna Maria now. Todd right with Hickman, and already these two pulling away from Michael Rutter and Erno Costamo. The top three all on soft rears. Costamo on that hard rear, of course, and Todd sticking with Hickman. And was that Rutter that just pulled over? I think that was Michael Rutter who's just pulled over, so Rutter looks to be out of this race. And already Costamo up to third, that puts Brooks into fourth, so Michael Rutter at Melco just running on, and that certainly looked to be more an issue with his machine, and he decided to retire as opposed to him making a mistake. But this is the heavyweight fight. This is the bout we've been building up through the sessions. Hickman versus Todd. Now, is Davy Todd just content to sit behind Hickman and stay with him and make sure the gap is close enough, or will he look to land a few blows early on in this race? We are on lap 2 already. Costamo in third, Josh Brooks in fourth. We all talk earlier this week, oh, Brooks could be a podium, but his lap times just weren't there during qualifying, and thought, well, maybe he'd be happy with maybe getting towards the top 6. So Costamo in third, Brooks in fourth, Lucas Mora in fifth. Where's that come from? On the Kawasaki on bike 18. We have Peter Hickman providing the pictures, just looking back. Lucas Mora, who was on row 4 alongside Davo Johnson and Julian Trummer. But Lucas Mora up to 5th place. Brooks, who was on the row behind, into 4th. Incredible start to the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. 0.3 of a second just behind Todd. So Michael Rutter is down pit lane. So unfortunately for Michael Rutter, he spent a lot of time at Donington Park riding Peter Hickman and Josh Brooks' superbikes in preparation for the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. But his race this year has come to a premature end. A shame for Michael Rutter, the Bathams rider, but already these two, and here he is, Warren and John. Just trying to figure out, couldn't work out what Michael was saying. It's hard to at the best of times, but he's got his helmet on. He won't mind me saying that. Meanwhile, Davy Todd refusing to let go. He has his teeth sunk right into Hickman's backside as they come out of Fisherman's again for the second time in this race. They were the two riders in qualifying, and they appear to be the two riders in race mode as well. And just imagine, had Davy Todd not been able to rejoin as Costamo comes through in third place, and already a big gap, almost 5 seconds down on Davy Todd in second place. And then another 3.5 seconds almost back to Josh Brooks. Statzer is up into 5th place. So they tip into lower Lisboa for the 3rd time. And there we have the two riders go through. No sign of Costamo. What a pace these two riders are setting at the moment. Hickman with the fastest, Todd with the fastest lap so far, 2:24.8. A 1/10 of a second, well, less than a 1/10 of a second, it's about 0.03 of a second faster than Peter Hickman's, who's got a 2:24.9. Costamo is in the 2:26.8. So that 2:24.8, that is Davy Todd's fastest ever lap. His fastest lap in race mode was a 2:28.0 back in 2018. So already he's put his fastest lap, and we might see, oh, he took it right out to the edge there, did Davy Todd. So 2:24.8 makes him the 5th fastest rider around Macau, behind Hickman, Irwin, Rutter and Easton. And that 2:24.9 of Peter Hickman, 0.6 of a second slower than his fastest ever lap of Macau. Through Donna Maria they go. It might be the tale of the tyres. We have Hickman, Dunlop on the front, not on the front, Dunlop. Hickman in front on Dunlops, Todd in second place on Metzler. Renaud Costomo, last year's Macau Grand Prix winner, still holding a solid third place, but he's a good couple of seconds a lap down already. Josh Brooks with 2:28.6. So I think Josh, maybe it wasn't quite what he was expecting Macau when he first started out here this week, and it's taken him a little bit longer to adjust and get to know the place. But boy, does Josh Brooks know his way around Macau now. Fourth place ahead of Datsa. We've got Mora, Rob Hodson in seventh place, Paul Jordan in a strong eighth place as well. Joey Thompson showing very strong in ninth as well, ahead of Sam West, who's 10th. Unfortunately, it was a Dave O'Johnson has come in. It looks like Michael Rutter has rejoined, by the way. So Michael Rutter has gone out for the ride. He loves Macau so much. He is. Michael Rutter has gone back out, by the way, folks. He's down in around 20th position at the moment. Phil Crow as well down the order. There is Rutter. I don't know exactly what he's up to, but he's going around. And certainly what he doesn't want to do is get involved in what's happening at the front between these two. And they will be coming up across him not too soon, but he is the next rider ahead of them. Davey Todd, a suggestion perhaps that he's losing a little bit of ground. Or is that Dominic Herbertson that's just shot on at Lisboa? But a little bit of ground to Peter Hickman. Peter Hickman just pulling the pin slightly. 2:24.6 from Hickman on his last lap. The fastest lap of the race so far. Still 0.3 outside his fastest ever lap. But Peter Hickman, oh, a little slide from Hickman as they come down to the Melco hairpin. He won't have even noticed that, of course. Oh, Todd, in trying to close the gap, ends up going too fast in and then too slow out. Just caught a glimpse of a rider just pulled over at the side. So the yellow flag is out at turn 18. So we have a retirement. So Dave O'Johnson looks to be a retirement. Unfortunately, the Australian ace is in. Phil Crow is also pitted as well. And Michael Rutter is showing is in the pits. So not too sure what he accomplished by going back out and coming back in. Maybe a little bit of info about the bike. Meanwhile, how committed was Peter Hickman going in and out of Mandarin. Absolutely on it. He was saying last night, well, the sun was right in his face here into Lisboa. He had his little marker, went 1, 2. He couldn't see because the sun was right in his eyes, so he counted 2 and then hit the brake. Incredible. But Peter Hickman, a 3-time Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix winner, pulling away from Davey Todd. Here is Josh Brooks in third place. Where is Costomo? Was that Costomo who pulled over? Incredible. My apologies for missing that. Was that Costomo at turn 18? Double yellow flags at turn 18. And we did suggest, as I say, Brooks could be on for a podium, and he finds himself in third place. David Datsa, though, has the experience of racing here in Macau last year, very close behind in fourth place. Rob Hodson also in fifth place. Lucas Mora also in a strong sixth position. My goodness me, what a story it would be for Josh Brooks on his debut at Macau to take third. We're still not at halfway, though, folks. A long, long way to go. And no doubt more drama to unfold. 2:24.4 from Peter Hickman. So that is under a second off the fastest ever time of 2 minutes 23.6. And Datsa closing that gap. He's gained a few tenths of a second on Josh Brooks, the two-time British Superbike champion. So Erno Costomo gambled. He went for that hard tyre in the hope that the race would come to him, but that's it from the Finn. Last year's winner, shame for him, but I'm sure he will be back. The king of Imatra, no longer the king of Macau. That crown looks as if it could be going to Peter Hickman again for the fourth time. Davy Todd losing half a second on that sector. Hickman was saying he was struggling on sector 4 yesterday. That's where the yellow flags are. That was the one sector he couldn't get quite right, but he was happy to let that one go because he said this is the important part. This first sector and the last sector as well, out of Fisherman's down into our bend. Again, that foot cooling maneuver off the pegs. And his last lap, just a shade off his fastest so far, 3/10 slower that time, a 2:24.7. And I would imagine we're going to see a little bit more from this battle as Hickman pulls away from Todd and Josh Brooks sensationally in third place. Who saw this coming? A fifth row start for Josh Brooks, and he finds himself in third place. David Datsa was fourth fastest in qualifying. Began on row 2, didn't get the best of starts, but he's recovered well, the German rider. And he fancies getting on the podium again at Macau. And I think it's fair to say Josh Brooks does know his way around the gear circuit now. In fact, he's just put in, it's Datsa actually just put in some very fast sector times as well. Datsa with a soft tyre. Rob Hodson not too far off in 5th place. Meanwhile, Peter Hickman continues to pull further and further away from Davy Todd. Where is Davy Todd? There he is, just coming into view now. There is Warren John and Michael Rutter. Are you going to give us a smile? Yes, he does. So, shame for Michael Rutter, especially as he's built and built and built throughout the week here at Macau. I would think this will be in the 225s, even maybe in the 226s this time for Hickman as he crosses the line. It's a, yes, 225.0 for Hickman this time, so he's just easing up a little bit, perhaps saving that tyre to go the whole race distance. We are into the second half of this race, and is that Datsa ahead of Brooks? That would be incredible if he's passed him somewhere around there. Maybe a mistake from Brooks, but he has. So Datsa is into third place ahead of Josh Brooks. Josh Brooks has lost a fair bit of time. It must have been maybe into Melko. He's now actually closer to Rob Hodson back in 5th place than he is to Datsa in 3rd. Datsa with plenty of momentum. A little bit of wheel lift at the front from Brooks as they come out of Mandarin down to Lisboa. And Brooks wants that 3rd place back, doesn't he? Datsa, as we saw in qualifying, knows his way around here. He's been super happy all week. The Pens team as well that he's involved with certainly know how to build a Macau bike. But Davy Todd's lap times have dropped right off, 2:29.5. I think he knows the game is up. They've still got to complete the race. You don't hand out prizes until that checkered flag is waved, of course, so it's not all done and dusted, and we have seen drama in the past, of course. But Hickman is in Hickman mode right now. And Datsa pulling away from Josh Brooks. all second gear through here. You just clip into third as you come out of Payol, then down to first gear for Police, then second for Moorish, second all the way around here through Donna Maria, and then into first gear into the Melco hairpin. The one part of the circuit where the cars can't overtake, however, no such limit exists for the motorcycles. So Davy Todd coming along, just nicking it back into third gear for Arbend, then up into four, just approaching around 130 miles an hour into Reservoir at turn one. So fourth gear there, then just coming up into fifth gear here, then nicking into top gear around 150 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Lisboa for Peter Hickman just touching around 190 miles an hour, which is incredible on a street circuit like this. You'll be getting great signs as well from Daz Jones and Chris, his two right-hand men here. He does a 2:26.1 on that last lap. Davy Todd was a 2:30.8. So that gap now from Hickman to Davy Todd, 13 seconds. So Davy Todd, a good 13 seconds then ahead of David Datzer. So if Peter Hickman wrote down a plan last night for how this race was going to go, this is how it is working out for him right now. He doesn't need to push that soft tyre any harder than he needs to. He can make sure he can cover the whole race distance, the whole 12 laps on that Dunlop. And you saw how hard Davy Todd was trying before. We saw him into the Melco hairpin, really trying to gain some ground on the brakes, ended up overshooting slightly, losing a bit of ground, losing a bit of momentum, and losing valuable time to Peter Hickman. So 2:24.4 looks like being the fastest lap of the race. Davy Todd with a 2:24.8. The next fastest lap after that, David Datzer, and he's just put that in actually, 2:27.1, the third fastest lap of any rider in this race, and Datzer's just done it on that last lap, on lap 7. Everybody else, Brooks and Hodson, 2:28s. Then we have Moore and Jordan doing 2:30. 2:31s for Herbertson, West and Thompson. Michael Evans with a 2:32. Camille Holland with a 2:33. Then we have the likes of Monod and Williams, Goodings, Lutberger, all doing 2:36s. Customo, of course, did a 2:26 before he retired. So actually, in fact, Datzer, that's the fourth fastest lap of anyone, as we see Datzer now still in third position. And 3 or so seconds ahead of Josh Brooks. Davy Todd already on his way down into Lisboa, as I say, 190 mile an hour plus the fastest part of the track. And you can see that's the sign, the body language of a man who says, do you know what, I'll be happy with second place, especially to a rider of the caliber of Peter Hickman. But it's all so different. Davy Todd's just so grateful, of course, after the drama of earlier this morning when he pulled himself off the grid with some kind of issue. However, the John Burroughs Engineering RK Racing team worked tirelessly to get the bike into position to be able to take part in the restart. For this man, Peter Hickman, who won, of course, 2018 from row 3, but he's gone from pole position again this time, and it looks as if he goes around Donna Maria, they just stay out of the dirtier part of the inside of the track there, down into Melco, hitting his apexes perfectly. And the other good thing that we're not seeing at the moment. We may see soon. In fact, if we do see it, I think it could be the last lap, but back markers. So Olivier Lutberger is the rider who's bringing up the rear, and he's just going into Lisboa now. As Peter Hickman comes around to start yet another lap. So lap number 10 for Peter Hickman. That was a 2:26.2, so he's upped it a little bit again. But he's just treating it now, I would imagine you could say, a little bit like a TT. He's the rider, he's out on his own, he's got nobody else to worry about. It's just him against the clock. And that's one of the unique things about Macau. You get these big gaps. You wouldn't really see that in the cars. They tend to all stay close together. You don't see the big gaps like we're witnessing here with the motorcycles. You can see the gap back down to David Datzer in third place, who's just in a 2:28.3. A little bit slower than his fastest time so far as Davy Todd exits Lisboa, heads up towards San Francisco, I should say. Here goes Datzer, who looks to have broken Brooks by the looks of things. He's put that gap to 4.1 seconds now. However, Josh Brooks has got a little bit of thinking to do in the shape of Rob Hodson in 5th place on the MTP-Racing machine. And of course, Rob Hodson on that Honda, the first of the non-BMWs out on track at the moment. Lucas Mora on the Kawasaki in 6th place. Paul Jordan, BMW in 7th. Sam West up to 8th place now. And Sam, like some of the other riders, not bringing enough. Initially, there was only one qualifying session, so they only brought tyres for one qualifying session. And then by the time they got out here, those qualifying sessions had been doubled. So they really had to work their rubber and preserve their tyres throughout. A 30-second penalty for Sam West. So just as I'm talking about that, and a 30-second penalty for Joey Thompson as well. What a shame. So 2 30-second penalties there, one for Sam West and one for Joey Thompson. So that will affect their positions. They're showing as 8th and 10th at the moment. That will put Dominic Herbertson up into 8th place, and that's not too shabby considering he began the race, I think it was on row 6. His first time on a superbike since he rode one at the TT earlier this year. Josh Brooks still in a strong 4th place, just ahead of Rob Hodson. But here is Peter Hickman getting closer and closer to the checkered flag. Still some distance to go. Around 10 kilometers for Peter Hickman as well. Davy Todd in a solid 2nd place. Well, it may not have been the Hickman-Todd battle we were expecting or even perhaps anticipating. Todd just put in the fastest sector, 20.6 on their run down to the start-finish. And I'm sure a little bit of a slide out of Lisboa again. Tyres now, there were concern maybe how the rubber would hold over race distance. Joey Thompson just behind Dominic Herbertson and Sam West as they begin another lap. However, West and Herbertson probably don't know it yet. They'll find out at the end that they've had a 30-second penalty. Thompson trying to close down on Herbertson. But we are back with the race leader. This is riding on board. All 2nd gear through here. You can hear it just shutting off the revs. No gear changes around Donna Maria. You'll hear that bike as we stay with it. We'll just drop down into 1st in a moment. There we go, into 1st gear. And around Datzer, meanwhile, in 3rd place. And given the performance we've seen from him all through free practice and qualifying, a very well-deserved third place should he achieve that. Josh Brooks, meanwhile, putting in his fastest times. It's 2.5 seconds, the gap between Datzer and Brooks. So Brooks has closed in a little bit on David Datzer, and that's not David Datzer slowing particularly. That's Brooks finding a little bit more confidence away around here at Macau. In fact, Brooks has just done his fastest lap, 2:27.8. So Josh Brooks, who knows, maybe a question mark over third position. However, not too much time to go. Peter Hickman on what should be the victory lap. Just cools that foot off, takes it off the peg, tips into Lisboa. They say, strangely, the brakes seem to work a little bit with a little bit of lean. It's been the perfect race, really, for Peter Hickman. The perfect performance from him. And the MGM FHO Racing BMW.
Again, a second in the first.
Feiho, team owner. Such a strong connection with Macau, of course. But will Peter Hickman come across Lutberger between now and the checkered flag? So thankfully that's not been an issue for the riders. There was a little bit concern maybe that they would come across slower traffic. But he has such a lead in hand to play with, almost half a minute now over Davy Todd. There are the blue flags to be waved, and that blue flag tells the slower rider a faster guy is coming through. Maybe Lutberger will just make his move across as they come into one of the turns and let Hickman go through. There he does. And that's how it should be. Well done, Olivier Lutberger. When it was safe for him to pull off the racing line, he did that, and Peter Hickman goes through into the Melco hairpin for the final time. So back out, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, around over 150 miles an hour. Coming down into Fisherman's, knock it back fourth, third, second gear. Then out of Fisherman's, up into third gear, fourth, fifth. Are we going to get a cheeky wheelie from Peter Hickman? No. Maybe across the line as he goes around the final turn here at the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix, the 55th time and the 4th time of asking for Peter Hickman as a race winner here at Macau. What a performance from him. So Peter Hickman wins at a canter, it has to be said. Planned to perfection. Davy Todd kept him honest over the early laps, and Davy Todd should be crossing the line to take second place, but Peter Hickman wins here at Macau. Davy Todd in second. David Datzer, meanwhile, just really did gain a lot of time on Davy Todd. But Datzer takes third. Josh Brooks is in fourth. Rob Hodson in fifth place. We're waiting for Lucas Mora to cross the line to confirm himself in sixth position. But Josh Brooks will be so happy with fourth. And there's the delight. David Datzer getting third. You can see this is what it means. Peter Hickman. That must be at Lisboa. A little bit of a burnout. Only 2 grandstands, well, 3 grandstands officially, but there's only spectators at the start-finish and also at Lisboa. No spectators anywhere else around the rest of the track. Davy Todd with a wave. Of course, he performed that fantastic stoppie in front of the marshals last night when he came into pit lane, and they, the bemused look on their face, thinking, what's going on there? But anyway, this man, how happy is David Datzer? Well, he's in some very special company as well. He's alongside Peter Hickman and Davy Todd on the podium and finishing ahead of a 2-time British Superbike champion and also a former World Superbike rider in the shape of Josh Brooks. Oh dear, that's Camille Holland. So not too sure exactly what's happened there. He's moving though. So Camille Holland, the Czech Republic rider, right at the end. So that could be at Donna Maria. But they will see the flags. Dominic Herbertson, really happy as well. Didn't have the best of starting positions on the Dafabet machine on the Kawasaki, however, raced his way up through the order, and he'll be buzzing for some time after that. Now then, it wasn't Donna Maria. Peter Hickman acknowledging the work of all the marshals and everyone else involved. This, oh, it's at the end. So it was Camille Holland just at the finish. What a shame for the Czech Republic rider. Don't forget, we have a whole day's worth of racing with the cars, but this is the final motorcycle action we'll have at Macau for 2023. Peter Hickman winning the race by 28.9 seconds over Davy Todd. Then Todd 1.8 seconds ahead of David Datzer. Then another 2.3 seconds to Josh Brooks in fourth. Another 8.4 seconds to Rob Hodson, who was threatening Josh Brooks' fourth place for some distance. Still have the podium ceremony to come, of course, and we should have some post-race interviews for you as well. Just waiting for Peter Hickman to come down. In fact, Hickman are just arriving now into that sim. You can just see coming through into pit lane. We get a burnout as well from Mr. Hickman. So he does it again. He did it at the Isle of Man TT, of course, this year. And he does it at Macau for the fourth time. Feiho has been involved in racing at Macau in the past. Darren Jones congratulates his man as well. But Feiho has been involved, but this time it's her FHO racing team. Davy Todd comes in second place. And we're still waiting for David Datzer. I'm sure we'll see some celebration from the German when he arrives into pit lane as well. Josh Brooks, how strong was that? Fourth on his debut here at Macau. And I'm sure we'll see him back in 2024. Rob Hodson, brilliant fifth place as well on the SMT bike. David Datzer just coming in now. Oh, big nods from him and his team. Huge congratulations for David Datzer, sorry, and David Todd, of course, but David Datzer absolutely buzzing, and that's what it means, folks, to get a result here at Macau.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
It's a big team effort from FHO Racing. John Burroughs Engineering, RK Racing team as well. After all the drama that we experienced at the start of the morning, but big, happy, smiling Davy Todd. And when they think of what could have been a second place, his best ever result. That's what we like to see, plenty of smiles. This man has just been smiling all week, David Datzer. Competes in the International Road Race Championship. Peter Hickman, of course, you know, races in the British Superbike Championship. Davy Todd, the Isle of Man TT, the Northwest 200, and also he put in some strong performances in BSB towards the end of the season with TAS Racing. and he will be with TAS Racing again next year. Peter Hickman on the pegs, by the way. I think they've cooled down enough now for him to stand up. I think the officials will be keen to maybe get the podium celebrations, because they've got a whole day's racing and cars ahead, so I'm sure all the cars involved, everyone involved, will be wanting this to hurry along. However, a lot of celebrations to be had here in Macau. Well, he started the event as favourite, and really no surprise to see him win. Maybe the only surprise is the manner in which he won, half a minute almost ahead of Davy Todd. Shame, though, we've got to think for Erno Costomo. He was a retirement. Also, Brian McCormack and Nadia Schutz, who are in hospital at the moment, but they are comfortable. So we have a press conference coming up. I would imagine, so don't see too much in the way of car activity just yet. It's the Macau Touring Car Cup next. So they'll be on track shortly, and we'll have Alan Hyde and David Addison will be bringing you top-class commentary as always for the cars. Yeah, David Datz with the Bavarian leathers. Which one of them is from Germany? Just check out the leathers. So they're on their way. It looks like we will get the press conference then. That's good. We'll be able to get the thoughts of Peter Hickman, Davy Todd and David Datzer. We'll have the podium celebration, of course, as we can see the grid starting to form up in preparation for the China Touring Car Championship, the Macau Touring Car Cup.
Same again next year?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Don't tell Faye.
Box has been ticked out of them. You've enjoyed it though, surely?
Yeah, no, it's good now that it's all...
No, it's all over.
There we go. As I say, Josh Brooks took his time. I think it took him a little bit longer than he was expecting to learn his way around here, but he was smiling, and we just saw him then. And he may well be back next year, who knows? But he certainly, as someone just said there, he's ticked that box, and he's experienced the thrill of racing at Macau. So we're getting ready for the podium celebration for the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. And there is Erno Costomo. It was him that pulled over. So something with the bike. What a shame for the Finn. He's had a great season, though, nonetheless, in the IRRC series. King of Imatra as well this year. But not the King of Macau, but I'm certain he will be back in 2024. He wasn't too sure what he was going to do tyre-wise. Went hard in the end, but unfortunately that theory never got to be tested.
And at the speed we're going, that bit of an oscillation feels like a judder.
Yeah, just gets bigger. Hi. Thank you.
So we are getting ready for the podium presentation. We just have to be concerned, obviously, of course, with the fact that there is more racing to come. And sometimes, as has happened in the past, we've been able to bring you a podium because the next race is about to get underway. What a performance from Lucas Mora as well. Really strong ride from him. We can't be too far away now from this podium. We have Dr. Kent Wong will be presenting the awards to David Datzer and Davey Todd. He's the Chief Advisor of Melco Resorts and Entertainment Limited. And then it'll be Mr. Pun Weng Kun, the President of the Sports Bureau and Coordinator of the Macau Grand Prix Organising Committee, who'll be handing over the main prize to Peter Hickman. So an unfamiliar 88 for Peter Hickman, but it brought good fortune. A rare smile from Michael Rutter. So unfortunately, his race was run pretty much as soon as it had begun. Michael Rutter here at Macau. Been playing catch-up all week on a brand new bike, the brand new Superbike. So I don't know what the delay is. We will, of course, be getting the national anthem as well. So my apologies. Oh, here we go.
Morning. Welcome to the 70th Macau Grand Prix. And now it's the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix 55th edition trophy presentation ceremony. First of all, let's welcome the top 3 riders to the podium. The second runner-up is number 55, David Mario Deza.
David Datzer.
Congratulations. The first runner-up is number 7.
He'll be like that all the way till Christmas, I think. And here comes Davey Todd. He'll be beaming as well.
The winner is number 88, Peter Hickman.
This man too. They're off to Thailand for a few days after this.
And now it's time for the national anthem for the winner.
Now the prize presentation's coming up.
Now I would like to invite the following guests to present the laurel and trophy to the winners. Let's welcome Dr. Kent Wong, Chief Advisor of Melco Resorts and Entertainment Limited, to present the laurel and trophy, first of all, to the second runner-up, David Mario Deza. Congratulations. And I would like to also invite Dr. Wong to present the laurel and the trophy to the first runner-up as well, Davy John Todd. Woo! Thank you, Dr. Wong. And now I would like to invite Mr. Pon Wang Kun, President of the Sports Bureau and Coordinator of the Macau Grand Prix Organizing Committee, to present the laurel and trophy to the winner, number 88, Peter Hickman. Thank you, guys. Please proceed to the center and take a photo together, please. And the riders, you may reach to the top of the podium. Take this photo together.
We still have a press conference to come as well. Whether we have time to bring you that, fingers crossed. I know it also as well.
Remain on the podium.
It's very early in the morning for our viewers in Europe.
So rider, please remain as it's the time for the champagne shower. And let our audience share your glory moments. Everybody ready? Woo! Congratulations! Congratulations to the top 3 winners of the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix 55th edition. Thank you, riders. Please again remain at where you are. And now I'll pass.
Attention in the paddock. Macau touring cars, China Touring Car Championship cars, paddock gate and pit exit are now open. Macau touring cars, China touring cars, paddock gate and pit exit are now open.
I think we might be struggling to get the press conference, but we might just get some thoughts.
After my bad start, I say, fucking hell, the fast guys are gone. Then, yeah, I managed it and they make us third place. Amazing.
Did you catch him on the last lap?
No, I think two laps more and we had fun.
Second place, Davey Todd. Davey, it's a challenging day.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a day like today at all. The Burroughs Engineering Arcade team have worked flat out all weekend. It's my first race back with them since 2018. It's a pleasure to be back with the team. They're an awesome group of guys. Thanks to John Burroughs for giving me the opportunity. Honestly, I was just so unlucky that first start. You split an oil pipe. It's just, you know, one of those really unlucky things. And the guys shoved the bike straight back to the garage and worked flat out. They said just in case it gets stopped and we can jump in the rerun. And lo and behold, it did, and we got back out there. Managed to take it to Pete there for 4 laps. Just tried sitting behind him. I knew the tyres were going to come into play, and tried to save it as much as I can. Just didn't have the tyre to compete at the end. So, no, hats off to him. He's rode a great race, and thanks to the team for an awesome job.
Congratulations. And Peter, home event for the team. 4th Macau win for you. What a day.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, I mean, first things first, I really hope Ryan McCormack and Nadia are okay. It was a shame to see them go down, but fingers crossed. They disappear? Yeah, there you go. I hope they're okay anyway. So, yeah, off the restart, it's never nice to, you know, I was almost just starting to get into a rhythm, but it was good to get Davey back out on the grid for the second run, and made a good start. Had to just kind of sit and chill for a little bit, although actually the lap times were still pretty strong. And then just thought, well, it's a long race, you know. The gear circuit is a really tough circuit on riders, machines, and tyres. So just got a nice rhythm early doors and tried to break him as early as I could. And he stuck with me for laps, and then the gap started to just come away. So managed the gap from there, and was really enjoying riding around this fantastic circuit. And it's fantastic for Faye, the FHO racing teams, their first time here as a team, and her first Grand Prix to be able to get pole and as well is fantastic.
So there we go. The thoughts of David Datzer, Davey Todd and Peter Hickman. So interesting that it was a split oil pipe that was the issue for Davey Todd. Well, that's it. That brings to a conclusion the 55th Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix in the 70th year of racing at Macau.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference for the 55th edition of the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. In third place for MTP-Racing by 0 up pens 13, David Datzer. Second place, Burrows Engineering, RK-Racing, Davey Todd. And for first place for FHO Racing BMW, Peter Hickman. Peter, we'll start with you. It's a bit of a challenging long morning, but fourth Macau win.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, first things first, I really hope Brian McCormack and Nadia Schutz are okay. Obviously, they went down in the first start, so fingers crossed they're both okay. I've not heard anything about it, but I really hope they're both all right. But for us, yeah, fantastic race. Great for the FHO racing team and Faye. You know, this is her hometown, her home event. So the pressure was on a little bit, really. She really wanted to make sure we win. And it's never tough. It's never easy. It's super, super tough around here. It's a really hard circuit. With the stoppage and start again, you kind of got to go all through that, all the emotions again to start the race. And it's a long old way, 12 laps around here. So Davey really kind of put the pressure on early doors, first kind of 4 or 5 laps. Tried to get into a rhythm early doors and just try and knock the laps off and just see where we'd end up. You know, tyres were always going to come into it. And I knew we were in a really strong place from what we did in qualifying, and I knew that we could run 24s all race if that's what we really needed to do. And I think we did a 24.4 or something early on, so yeah, it's pretty fast around here. And yeah, really happy to obviously get the win for myself and also for the FHO racing team.
好，歡迎大家嚟到第70屆澳門格蘭披治大賽車、澳門格蘭披治電單車第55屆大賽正賽嘅賽後記者會。首先，我哋恭喜台上面嘅3位車手，佢哋分別係冠軍得主克爾文、第2名嘅陶德同埋第3名嘅達查嘅。剛剛咧，克爾文咧同我哋講到啦，佢第4次嚟澳門奪冠嘅感受啦。咁佢首先咧就希望頭先喺比賽中事故中嘅車手咧冇事啦。另外咧，佢就係表示咧，因為其實車隊嘅FHO Racing 咧係其實係何嘉華小姐嘅車隊嚟嘅，咁所以澳門係何小姐嘅家鄉啦，咁所以佢話其實為車隊奪冠咧，由一開始咧就已經好大壓力啦。從比賽開始咧，佢就已經不停咁樣擦出圈速啦，而陶德啦，亦都向佢施壓咗好多圈嘅。最後咧，因為佢嘅輪胎開始變暖啦，然後由尋日嘅比賽當中咧，其實個步伐就已經非常之好啦，所以佢最後咧亦都把握到時間擦出好嘅圈速，然之後就不停咁樣向前進攻，最後獲得冠軍嘅。
And Davey in second place. Mechanical challenges on the first start. Great start to the race when you got going, and then tyre problems later on. You want to talk us through that one?
Yeah, I've got to say, to start with, the Burrows Engineering RK-Racing team have done a fantastic job all weekend. For a team that I raced for in 2018 and got to do my first Isle of Man TT with, it was a pleasure to be back with them. I've been friends with them since, and it's nice to be back racing for them. They've done a fantastic job and built a great bike, and we're just we were unlucky. I've got to say, I was obviously very frustrated, I think visibly, in that first run where we had a little bit of a mechanical issue, and the guys, you know, really composed. They didn't look like they were panicking to me. They took the bike back and they said, look, we're going to prepare it in case the race gets stopped. We're going to, you know, fix the problem, do what we can so the bike's ready if should anything happen. And it did. The race got red flagged. On that note, I hope, same as what Peter said, I hope Brian and Nadia are okay. The race got stopped so we can get back in the rerun. The guys were working flat out to fix it. Got us in the rerun, and we had a problem in qualifying where we were planning on actually doing a race run on the tyres that we wanted to race on. We then had a problem, so we couldn't do that race run. So it was a gamble. What compound to use tyre-wise, and we took that gamble. Went with the SEX tyre and. Didn't know how it had pan out. For 4 laps, stuck behind Pete there, was in the mix and felt very comfortable in that. I think we both got into quite a comfortable rhythm, and then yeah, the tyre started going off, and I just couldn't hold on to the back of him. So just tried to nurse it, nurse it to the end. I think by the first 4 laps we had quite a big gap and just tried to nurse it to the finish to bring it home on the podium.
But the flip side is you must be delighted with the podium.
I am delighted with the podium, honestly. It's my first podium here in my 3rd time at Macau. It's a pleasure to be in Macau every time that we're here. Not been back in 4 years, and I think we were all really excited to be back here in Macau. I know it's FHO's home race, but I was coming to spoil the party. Unfortunately, couldn't do that. But no, it's a pleasure to be back, and I'm already looking forward to be back next year.
第2名嘅陶德咧，亦都同我哋分享啦。首先咧，佢就好多謝車隊，其實佢同車隊之前咧都已經有合作過嘅。咁車隊咧都好好啦，為佢準備咗一架性能非常之好嘅賽車。佢覺得整場比賽咧對於佢嚟講咧係非常之幸運啦。其實喺比賽開始嘅時候咧，佢架電單車咧都有一啲機械嘅問題。車隊表示咧，如果中間有時間嘅話咧，可以幫佢整翻好啦。咁當然啦，之後比賽開始咗冇啦咧，其實就有一次嘅紅旗出事，咁佢亦都表示咧希望事故中嘅車手會冇事啦。車隊咧亦都趁住紅旗嘅時間咧幫佢整翻好個賽車。而喺賽事重新開始嘅時候咧，佢喺一開始嘅時候咧，其實嗰個輪胎嘅表現咧都非常之好嘅。而喺比賽之後嘅後段咧，輪胎嘅表現開始下降啦，所以咧佢就決定把握住賽車本身嘅嗰個步伐啦，直至到最尾。好開心啦，可以上到頒獎台，好開心可以翻嚟澳門，希望下一次可以繼續嚟東望洋參賽。
And David, second time to Macau, second podium, and towards the end, Davey must be getting quite big in front of you.
Yeah, I see. After my bad start in the second stint from the race, this was not good for me, and I was on the 8th place in the race after the first lap, and say, oh shit, I hope I come back to the podium. And yeah, it was good to see Davey in the last 2 laps, and yeah, for me it was safe to go on P3 and say big thanks to my team, to Brian, to my father, and the MTP-Racing team. It was a great show, and I hope I come back.
而第3名嘅達查咧，亦都同我哋分享啦。其實今次咧係佢第2次嚟澳門，亦都係第2次站上頒獎台嘅。喺賽事重新開始嘅時候咧，其實佢嘅起步並非太好啦。第1圈後咧，其實佢係排喺大概第8嘅位置，所以咧佢就繼續希望自己可以繼續向前推啦。然之後咧就可以上到頒獎台啦。佢好開心啦，可以最終攞到第3名啦。好多謝車隊，多謝佢嘅爸爸，同埋咧好希望可以下一年咧再繼續翻嚟澳門嘅。
And finally, Peter, back next year.
Yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, we taught David all the good words to start with. You always learn all the proper words you need before you learn anything else in another language. But no, absolutely, yeah. I really enjoy coming back to Macau, and yeah, just excited and happy that we finally got back. You know, 4 years was a long time away, and I'm just thankful to have such a great team behind me. BMW M1000RR has been fantastic. The Dunlop tyres have been fantastic. All my personal sponsors, it's been great. So look forward to coming back in 2024.
I have a question.
What's that?
Because I didn't spoil the party, do I still get invited to it tonight?
We'll invite you, don't worry.
而最後咧，克爾文亦都同我哋分享啦，其實今次可以喺4年之後咧重新翻嚟澳門，佢覺得非常之開心啦，亦都好興奮，好開心可以翻嚟澳門啦，亦都可以同一支咁好嘅車隊一齊喺東望洋作賽。輪胎咧其實都表現得非常之好啦，所以佢希望咧喺2024年可以繼續翻嚟澳門嘅。
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your top 3. MTP-Racing by 0 up pens 13. David Datzer in 3rd. 2nd for Burrows Engineering, RK Racing, BMW, Davey Todd. And 1st for FHO Racing, BMW Motorrad, Peter Hickman. If I could ask you 3 gentlemen to stand up for the photographs, and then some of the guys from the floor will come and grab you. Thank you very much.